I never imagined that betrayal would come from my own blood. When my husband passed away 8 years ago, the house became my entire world. It wasn't just walls and a roof, it was where we raised our son, Daniel, where we argued over paint colors, celebrated birthdays, and sat together during blackouts, laughing at candle shadows on the ceiling. After my husband's death, Daniel insisted I move in with him and his wife. "I'll take care of everything, Mom," he said. "You don't need to worry anymore." I refused. That house was my independence, my last piece of dignity. Daniel didn't argue, at least not then. He smiled, hugged me, and said he understood. That smile should have warned me. At first, nothing felt wrong. Daniel started visiting more often, too often. He brought groceries, fixed small things around the house, and constantly asked if I was managing the bills okay. "I can help," he'd say. "These things are confusing at your age." I wasn't that old. I was 64, perfectly capable. But slowly he began inserting himself into everything. My mail, my bank statements, my insurance papers. One afternoon, I caught him opening an envelope addressed to me. "Oh, sorry," he said casually. "I thought it was mine." I should have stopped him then. Instead, I let it slide. The first real alarm rang when I received a call from the county office. "Ma'am, we're following up on the deed transfer request for your property." I laughed nervously. "There must be a mistake. I haven't transferred anything." There was a pause on the line. "The request was submitted online," the clerk said, "from an email listed as Daniel Carter." My heart dropped into my stomach. I hung up without saying another word. That evening, Daniel came over like nothing was wrong. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one where he once spilled juice all over his homework and cried like the world was ending. I placed the phone on the table between us. "Why is the county calling me about a deed transfer?" I asked. His face didn't even change. "Oh, that," he said lightly. "I was just looking into options, estate planning for the future." "For the future?" My voice trembled. "You tried to put my house in your name." "Mom," he sighed as if I was the unreasonable one. "It's just paperwork. Eventually it'll be mine anyway." I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Not while I'm alive." He looked annoyed. "You're being dramatic." That was the moment I knew. My son wasn't helping me. He was waiting me out. That night I didn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. The ticking clock, the hum of the refrigerator, the wind brushing against the windows. At 2:17 a.m., I sat up in bed, wide awake, my chest tight with fear. What if he tried again? What if next time he succeeded? I realized something terrifying. Daniel knew all my information, my ID, my passwords, my social security number. He had access, and I had been blind. At exactly 3 a.m., I made a decision that would change everything. I turned on my laptop. With shaking hands, I logged into my county's property portal. I had learned how earlier that week, quietly, carefully. I wasn't going to confront him again. I was going to protect myself. I contacted my lawyer's emergency line, then another number, then another. By dawn, the paperwork was started. But not the way Daniel expected. Instead of transferring the house to him, I placed the property into an irrevocable living trust. The beneficiary. Not Daniel. Me. Only me. And upon my death, the house would be sold, the money donated to a women's shelter and a scholarship fund. No heirs. No exceptions. No loopholes. At 3:46 a.m., I digitally signed the documents. I cried not out of sadness but relief. For the first time in weeks, I slept. 2 days later, Daniel stormed into my house without knocking. "What did you do?" he demanded. I was sitting calmly in the living room, drinking tea. "I protected myself," I said. "You locked the house into a trust," he shouted. "Do you know what that means?" "Yes," I replied quietly. "It means you can't steal it." His face twisted with anger. "I'm your son," he yelled. "I deserve it." I stood up, meeting his eyes. "You deserve honesty," I said, "not entitlement." He scoffed. "So you're cutting me off after everything I've done?" "You tried to take my home while I was alive," I said. "That's not love, that's greed." He didn't speak to me for months after that. At first it hurt. I missed him terribly, missed the little boy he used to be. But slowly, something else replaced the pain. Peace. No more suspicious visits. No more missing mail. No more fear. I started gardening again, invited friends over, laughed freely. The house felt like mine again. 6 months later, Daniel sent me a message. Not an apology. A demand. Undo the trust, it's not fair. I stared at the screen, then deleted the message. Some bridges burn not because we light the fire, but because the other side refuses to stop pouring gasoline. People ask me if I regret it. If I feel guilty. I don't. Because that night at 3 a.m., I didn't just transfer paperwork. I reclaimed my life. And if my son ever learns anything from this, I hope it's this. Love doesn't take. Love protects. And I finally chose to protect myself.